Hey, my name is Bo, and let's talk about creating a new identity. Your identity is basically who you believe you are. And who you believe you are is going to dictate everything that you do in your life. Who you believe you are is going to determine how you think about things. And how you think about things is going to determine how you feel about things. And how you feel is going to determine how you act. And that is going to translate into the results you get or don't get in your life. But the thing is, most people believe that who they are is just who they are. And they think it's fixed in stone. They think their identity is this solid thing that they can't really change. But the thing is, your identity is really just a story that you've told yourself so many times that you just ended up believing that it's true. And the thing about stories is that stories can be rewritten. So just because you believe something about yourself and that's holding you back in life doesn't mean you can't rewrite that story, rewrite those belief systems in your mind, and create a whole new identity for yourself and a whole new life. And I know this can be done because I've done it in my own life. When I was younger, I was not the person I am today, not even close. When I was younger, I had very, very low self-confidence. I struggled with a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-doubt. I had a lot of struggles and challenges in my younger years. And I've been able to grow and mature and increase my self-confidence and increase my belief in myself and do things that the old me would have never been able to do. So the first thing you need to realize is that your identity is just a story. It's a collection of ideas and beliefs that you have about yourself and the world around you that you probably picked up when you were a very young child and throughout life. But a lot of your identity was shaped when you were very, very young, before the age of 7. That is when you are like a sponge and you're absorbing everything that people around you are doing. You're mimicking the behaviors of people around you. You're absorbing what people tell you, what your parents tell you about the world and about yourself. You tend to start to believe about yourself and the world as well. So you adopt similar belief systems as the people around you. So a lot of the beliefs that we have about ourselves are very deep in our mind, and that's why we tend to not question them, because we've carried them around for so long. We might have had these beliefs since we were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. And so we tend to just take them for granted and just think, well, that's who I am, because that's who I've always believed I was. But we have to start to question this. Question, where do our beliefs come from? Why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way about myself? Why do I have this perspective that I do? Is this perspective something that I chose, or was it implanted into me in a way? Was I brainwashed? Was I convinced of something that isn't really true? So we need to be able to detach for a moment from our beliefs and everything we think and feel, and just be willing to say, okay, maybe none of this is true. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe everything I believe about life is false. At least be willing to entertain that idea for a moment, because that is how we can get that detached perspective, and that's how we can start to change. So the second thing that's important to realize when it comes to reshaping your identity is that your mind will tend to believe only what it sees. When you act a certain way over and over and over again, your mind will tend to create an identity around that. So let's say you want to increase your self-confidence. One way you could do that is by proving to yourself that you can act in confident ways. And by acting in confident ways, even if it's little things, as long as you are consistent with that, and you move outside of your comfort zone consistently, little by little, you're going to start to prove to your mind that, hey, I am confident. I'm not this fearful person who's stuck in life, and it will start to create a new identity. So one simple way to create a new identity is just get in the habit of moving outside of your comfort zone and doing the things that you're afraid of, little by little. And eventually you will prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are confident, that you can get through challenges, that you can persevere, that you can achieve your goals. And eventually you'll reach a point where you just know deep in your soul that you can do what you want to do in life. And that is going to be a huge confidence boost. Similarly, we want to rehearse in our mind how we would want to act, how we would want to be if we were that new identity that we want to be. So in the beginning, we don't necessarily have to take massive action and get way outside of our comfort zone. We want to be doing things in real life, but we also want to simultaneously be rehearsing in our mind, because when we can see in our mind what we want to do and how we want to behave, and we can see ourselves acting in that new way, that is going to increase the belief naturally that we are that new person. The more times you see it, the more you will believe it. So whether you're seeing it in your mind or you're seeing it in real life, you're seeing yourself actually doing it. Both of these things are important. So maybe carve out a few minutes a day to just practice visualizing yourself living in that new identity and acting in that way that you would if you were that confident person that you want to be, or that successful person that you want to be. Whatever area of your life you're trying to improve, see yourself living that life already. And as your belief increases, you'll find it easier and easier to actually do those things and be that way in real life. And when you do that over and over again, eventually it'll just become part of your identity, and you will do those things naturally. You'll act confident naturally. You won't have to think about it. You won't have to rehearse it anymore. You won't have to practice it anymore. It will just become who you are through enough repetition. The third thing I would recommend you do is some sort of daily meditation practice. Some kind of practice where you can silence your mind and get to a place of inner stillness and peace. Because what that is going to show you is the illusion of your identity. It's going to show you that you aren't these stories in your mind. You aren't these beliefs. You aren't any of the things that have happened to you in your life, or whatever you believe about life. It's all an illusion, because at the core, you are something that cannot be described in words. At the core, you are something beyond any story, any belief, any situation, circumstance, event. You are so much more than that. And you have to be able to get in touch with that part of yourself, because otherwise you will never have true, deep confidence, because you will always be trying to fake it in life. You'll always be trying to force things to happen. You'll be trying to create a new identity instead of just being who you really are. Because in this work of transforming yourself, it's really about shedding away the layers of what is false and what is not true, so that you can be your authentic and true self. It's not about pretending to be something that you're not. It's about realizing who you already are at the core, and then working on releasing everything that is blocking you from being that. So at the core, you are already the person who is capable of achieving that goal, or the person who is confident and secure in yourself and at peace, the person who loves life and loves yourself and is full of joy and gratitude. That is your true nature. And so when you're visualizing yourself being that way, you're not visualizing a fake version of yourself. You're visualizing the truth of yourself. In the beginning, it might feel like an act. It might feel like you're faking it. But the goal of practicing being that way and rehearsing it is not so we can create this false identity. It's so that we can let go of the old identity. So it's all about letting go. It's all about releasing the limitations. Don't get caught up in trying to force things all the time and trying to work really hard to change yourself. It's not about working hard. It's about realizing the truth, realizing what you already are underneath all of the layers that you have created to protect yourself over the years. When we're growing up, when we're going through life, we encounter situations that are challenging, that bring up a lot of fear and negative emotions in us. And we develop this belief that we have to protect our true self from the world because we feel vulnerable, we feel weak, we feel like we need to put up this shell, we need to build this shell around us so that we don't get hurt. So at the end of the day, we're not really creating an identity, we're really releasing the identity. And coming to a place where we don't really need to believe anything about ourselves. We can just stand in our authenticity, in our truth, and just be the bright light that we are. And so there are levels to this. There are steps. In the beginning, you might be focused a lot on creating a new identity. But at the end, it's about letting go of the need to have an identity, letting go of the need to believe anything about yourself, good or bad, and getting to a place where you can just be content with what you are. Because at the core, we are all whole and complete. We're capable. We are bright lights in this world. We have so much to offer. We can become so much. That is our natural birthright. And so we don't have to force that. We just have to let go of everything that's been in the way the whole time.